Hello everyone and welcome to Isms by Josie. This past week was my mother's birthday, so this week I'll be doing a sapphire nail design. I started out by doing a polygel infill and coated it with a foundation gel. I'll be taking Sally Henson's Miracle Gel color Tidal Wave and laying this on each nail. This nail polish was a little translucent, so I actually needed 2 thick coats. And I am applying this on the walls, capping the tip. And what I didn't show in this video is I also applied it to the underside. Again, these nails are inspired by the month of September, so I took the color of Sapphires and I'm applying it to each nail. This nail polish says gel, but it's really not. It's just Sally Henson's quote-unquote hybrid, but it really is just regular nail polish. So you can't cure it with a lamp, you just have to give it some time. This nail polish is kind of sheer if you just put one coat, but it does look, it pops so well with 2 coats. I do have to lay this polish on a little thick because it does tend to reveal the brush strokes if you apply it too thin. But of course, when you do that, dry time is always going to take longer. So that's the, I guess, con for these nail polishes. And how it dries, most of them will look the same wet and dry. So I've used this Tidal Wave before and it looks like it has the top coat already on it. But today we're going to actually apply a big matte top coat again by Sally Hansen. And I just wanted to dull out the shine so that the design that we apply to each nail will pop up. And this nail polish wasn't bad. It's not a gel again, so it won't cure under the lamp. But you do need to shake it very well. I've applied this without shaking it before, and for some reason, I guess the particles had separated, so it applied glossy and not matte. And then once this nail polish is dry, we'll start seeing the matte version of it. I'm loving these nails already. Like, I could probably just leave this alone and not do anything with it. And what I didn't show on this video is putting the Tidal wave on the underside of my nails. I also did apply a matte top coat with it as well. And this is what it looks like after it's all dried. As you can see here, I've done the undersides as well. Now I'm taking a Born Pretty stamping plate, BPL016, and a silver Born Pretty stamping nail polish. I'll put a link down below. And I'm going to start creating designs for my nails. The color to me was kind of regal, so I wanted to put this like old world kind of floral design. And again, if the stamping area is not big enough for your nail, you just have to try to line up the design as best as possible. It gets a little harder with geometric shaping because it forces you to be perfect. And I'll tell you this, my nail work here was not perfect. So, but I wasn't about to start over. So I'm just working with what I did. And it wasn't bad. It's just not perfect. I don't know why I mean, the trends are longer nails these days, so I don't know why they don't make those stamping areas larger than what you see here. So I'm applying this to my index and my ring finger. Now I'm placing a centralized floral decal to my middle finger. And this is it gives me a little anxiety because it needs to be centered. Next I'll be taking Gummy Jelly by Couture. And I'm going to bling out my pinky nail, so I'll be slathering on a thin layer on the whole entire nail. I had to have my bling. So the color is inspired by the Sapphire, but originally I didn't intend to have any rhinestones on there. But since I do have these rhinestones here, I'm going to use them. So I'm taking the E-Shine by Couture, and I'm putting a layer of that on top of the gummy jelly while it's still wet. And this will act as like saran wrap that will just suck the rhinestones in place. And I didn't really have a pattern planned out. I typically try to make things symmetrical. So I just started by using the biggest stones and going down the line until I couldn't fit any more of them. I love applying this kind of design on a nail, just having like, whatever color it is, but the same color, and then just applying different sizes all over the nail. Like one huge or one tiny disco ball on your nail. And it gets a little tedious, especially when it comes to the smaller stones, but the end result looks so good. The dimensions in there are perfect, with the different sizes of the stones and the light, reflecting off of the facets. It's so pretty. I don't think I've done a solid color like this before, so I don't normally wear at all any royal blues, but I really love this color. It just really sticks out, and these rhinestones on here are just so solid and bold looking. So be sure to apply like a thin coat, especially if it's not a huge jumbo stone or decal, because if you put too much of the product as you're working to finish the entire nail, the stones are just going to slip all over the place or slip off the nail, and it's just going to be one huge mess. With the base color and the stones, it was really hard to find the empty spaces that didn't have stones in it. And after all this application, I probably missed a little section that could have taken at least one more tiny stone. Also, you want to apply a thin coat, because if you do, when it does run as you're working on your nail, it could flood your cuticle, and you could file it off, but it'll get harder to get into that crevice because of the stones. You might end up just filing off some of the stones, and that doesn't really look pretty. So this time I decided to cap the tip with rhinestones. I don't normally do that because I work so much with my nails that those stones would just fall off anyway. But I thought it would be pretty neat to see the whole thing blinged out. I wouldn't recommend putting them on the underside of your nails because, if you intend on saving it for the next design, I mean, clipping the stones from underneath would be doable, but you could possibly ruin and scratch up the underside of your nail. But it is kind of tempting to do. You can probably put I could have done a glitter. I don't have royal blue glitter though, so that would have been not a thing I could do. And that's an airplane. I'm not too far from LaGuardia. Okay, moving on to the ring finger. I wanted to apply like a rose gold decal or decal, however you say it. And I haven't used these yet. I bought a set a long time ago. I could try to find the link to it and post it below, but I haven't gotten to a lot of these little pinwheels of stones and decals. But I took a few pieces that I wanted, laid it out already. I normally don't do that, but I really did not know what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to use these. So I'm just flanking some triangles on the top and bottom of this design. and they're flat and they're thin, and stuff was crazy to pick up, especially on a paper towel. I think well, no, it would have been harder if I had like a smooth surface, because then, like if you have nails and trying to pick up like a penny or a dime, it'll be impossible unless there's like it's a tile floor and there's a little crack in there or whatever. But it was still hard to pick these suckers up, so be wary. Just to know, I had put gummy jelly, a thin layer of gummy jelly in the shape of the triangle, and a thin layer of the shiny, again, so that it doesn't run off. It's going to ruin the matte coat. And it'll be hard to gauge, but if you can guesstimate the surface base you'll be working with and only to apply it there, if you end up putting more outside of the surface that you needed, you can always go back in with a swipe and wipe off the excess. Or you can cheat a little bit, and then after you cure it, just go over the shiny spots with matte nail polish. I'm lining this design with caviar beads, and they too are so hard to pick up. I think some people use nail glue, just because once they place it down, it's there and it doesn't move. As you can see, like me using the gummy jelly and the shiny, these things are constantly moving, so I'll have it perfect and then I'll just hit it the wrong way and I'll have to start all over. But I'd rather do that because nail glue is just so permanent. If you lay these down with the glue and realize it's crooked, I mean, there's no way to fix it other than to rip it off. So I prefer doing it this way. It gets a little annoying, but definitely better than, having something permanent and having it wrong. I saw rose gold with sapphires in a photo, and I never seen that before. I mean, I don't know, I thought that was a weird combo, but it looked so unique and interesting that I had to do it. These micro beads are something else, I'll tell you. I mean, you look at it, I've seen it done, obviously, in other videos that other people have done, and I'm like, oof, that's insane. But, put together, it does look really, it puts like an elegant touch to it. So it's something worth trying if you have the patience for it. And the tools, because imagine trying to pick these things up with anything but a, tiny tweezer. Okay, so now for my thumbnail, I wanted to do like a raised stone look. So I'm applying a gummy jelly in a form of a circle to create the frame of this raised stone look. And then I'm applying the shiny on top of it. I'm taking these diamond-shaped rose gold decals. I should probably go on dictionary.com and find out how to pronounce that word. It could be decal, it could be decals. I'm sure it could be other things too. I don't know. So now that I have them all laid out into this little ring, I'm just following the geometric shapes, lining them up, and it's creating this little boxy star looking thing. I don't know, I was really hoping that this circle disc had like curvy, just a curvy line decal that I can use to form just a circle, but they didn't, so I'm using these diamonds. And now I'm just gonna use the shiny and apply a little outline of this geometric shape, because I'll be applying caviar beads all around it. This wasn't as tedious as I thought it would be. It seemed a little daunting that I would have to apply all these little beads around the whole thing. But, you know, once you get it stuck on there, I mean, they're really good. They just stick around until you push it where it needs to go. The only annoying part, like I said, like, I'll use the tweezers and I'll jerk a little bit and it'll mess up the formation, and that's annoying. And I think you'll see that a little in a bit later that towards the end of this layout I was having a hard time not screwing up the design by accidentally like tipping one of the corners. But you can already see that these caviar beads are just putting more emphasis on this shape and making it look a lot more sophisticated than, you know, just laying down those diamonds. I wanted to close off those little voids that the triangles are making and square off the center, but I didn't know what to fill those little crevices with. So I just totally tipped it and that sucker flew. It reminds me a little bit of cathedral architecture. This little formation thing here. I have a background in architecture, so I like a lot of play with geometric shapes. To me, sometimes they just remind me of floor plans. It's funny. Now I'll be taking the Gelish Hard-Gel, and of course we cured our previous design here. So now I'm just building a little hump in the center to make it look like a little stone coming out of this rose gold design, as if it were like maybe a ring. But as you see, I'm just like lightly touching those edges for the hard gel to just bleed into. I cured that and now I'm applying another layer. Depending on your hard gel, you definitely want to carefully you wipe off the sticky layer with some nail cleanser. And it may, if you're not using gel polish, it'll definitely affect regular nail polish. So I tried to only swipe this stone we're creating. And this is a third layer of the hard gel now. I want it to kind of, you know, give it some depth coming out of there. I'm taking just a blue stone and setting it in the middle. And now I'm going to be applying a Top It Off clear coat by Gelish on just the stone that we created. And you want to put this around, just around the rhinestone we centered. And this is going to give it another, like, you know, stone look to it. And I'm centering it off with this little round piece. And again, as you can see, I'm like just swiping the stone part. Now I'm going to take my big matte top coat and I'm going to apply that to the index and the ring finger. Just want to set this design because stamping nail polish just comes off easy. If you don't top coat it on your, you know, it's a good thing for skin because you could just swipe it off. But on nails, it won't stay on. And that was a car alarm. I'm taking my Nourish Cuticle Oil by Gelish and I'm applying this to each nail or around each nail so that my cuticles get a little treat. Rubbing this in. I guess some days like you don't need as much as I mean, I normally need this much and it was just, I guess my hands weren't dry. But these nails look just so regal. This is the end result. I hope you like it. This is IsmsByJBM. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for future videos. I love this look. Every week I do a new design, as you know, and I'm for sure thinking that every month I'll do a birthday design. Thanks. Bye.